Asterisk, the wind rolled across the Wyoming plains like a warning, carrying dust and silence in equal measure. Rancher Samuel Boone stood near the fence line, his eyes fixed on the distant hills. He had lived alone for years, far from towns and trouble, trusting the land more than people. That afternoon felt different. The horses were restless, the birds had gone quiet, and even the sky seemed to hold its breath. As Samuel turned back toward his cabin, he heard a faint voice carried by the wind. "Don't look there." It wasn't loud, but it froze him where he stood. Asterisk, his heart pounded as he slowly scanned the area. The voice hadn't come from behind him, but ahead, near the tree line. Samuel tightened his grip on the rifle slung over his shoulder, instincts sharpened by years of survival. The Wild West taught men to trust their senses. He took a cautious step forward. The land was empty, yet the feeling of being watched grew stronger. Then he saw movement, just a shadow at first near the old cottonwood trees bordering his property. Asterisk, as he approached, the shadow resolved into a woman crouched low, her clothing torn and dusty, her face pale with fear. She raised a trembling hand. "Please," she whispered, "don't let them see me." Samuel froze in shock. She was Apache, and badly injured. Blood stained her sleeve, and her breathing was shallow. In that moment, Samuel knew helping her could bring danger to his doorstep, but leaving her there would mean certain death. He lowered his rifle slowly, his voice calm. "You're safe for now," he said. Asterisk, he guided her carefully toward the cabin, keeping watch on the horizon. Inside, he cleaned her wound and offered water. The woman introduced herself as Ilara, her eyes sharp despite the pain. She explained that soldiers and bounty hunters had been tracking her people after a recent conflict. She had escaped, but not without cost. Samuel listened in silence, his expression unreadable. He had seen cruelty in many forms, but fear like hers cut deep. Outside, the wind howled as if echoing the danger drawing closer. Asterisk, night fell quickly. Samuel extinguished most lights, leaving only a small lantern burning. Ilara sat near the wall, tense but grateful. "Why help me?" she asked quietly. Samuel paused before answering. "Because no one helped my wife when she needed it," he said. The words were heavy, old pain resurfacing. Ilara nodded, understanding without needing more. The cabin felt fragile against the vast darkness beyond its walls. Asterisk, just before dawn, hoofbeats echoed in the distance. Samuel stiffened. He peeked through the window and saw riders approaching, armed and alert. "Don't look there," Ilara whispered urgently, pointing toward the back trail. "They'll see movement." Samuel realized the riders were scanning for signs, not knowing exactly where she was. He led Ilara through a hidden cellar exit beneath the cabin, a passage he'd built years ago for storms and emergencies. Asterisk, they hid among rocks as the riders searched the ranch. Samuel watched his home from a distance, heart racing. The men dismounted, checking tracks, circling the cabin. One pointed toward the cottonwoods. Samuel held his breath. After long agonizing minutes, the riders decided to move on, frustrated and empty-handed. The sound of hooves faded into the plains, leaving behind silence and relief. Asterisk, Ilara collapsed against a rock, exhausted. Samuel helped her up, guiding her back inside once the danger passed. She looked at him with disbelief. "You risked everything," she said. Samuel shrugged lightly. "The land gives, and it takes. Today, it asked me to choose." Over the next days, Ilara regained strength. She shared stories of her people, their deep bond with the land, and the losses they had endured. Samuel listened, realizing how similar their griefs were. Despite different lives, Asterisk, the ranch changed with her presence. Silence turned into shared meals, cautious smiles, and quiet understanding. Samuel taught her how to ride his spare horse, while she taught him healing techniques passed down through generations. Each sunset felt less heavy. Still, both knew Ilara couldn't stay forever. The Wild West was unforgiving, and safety was never permanent. Asterisk, one morning, Ilara stood outside the cabin, staring toward the mountains. "My people are beyond those ridges," she said softly. Samuel nodded. He had prepared supplies and a horse for her journey. When the moment came, neither spoke much. Words felt small compared to what they had survived together. Ilara placed a hand over her heart, then on his arm. "You gave me life," she said. "I'll carry that." Asterisk, Samuel watched her ride away, her figure shrinking against the endless land. The wind rose again, but this time it didn't feel threatening. He returned to his fence line, staring across the plains. He understood now why the voice had warned him not to look there. Because looking had changed everything. In a land built on fear and survival, one choice of compassion had rewritten his fate. Asterisk, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Samuel felt something unfamiliar settle in his chest. Not loneliness, not regret, but purpose. The Wild West remained harsh and dangerous, but within it, moments of humanity still burned bright. And he knew that no matter how quiet the plains became again, he would never truly be alone. Asterisk,